What's up, guys? Open Ice Hits with Scotty2Hockey. Let's talk Habs, but today, let's just talk about the NHL in general. There is no season happening right now. They're talking about bringing back the playoffs, a 2014 format. That would be awesome. I may do a video on that. But what I'd like to talk about today is just a fun little topic, and people in the comments can give their opinions, give their four players for this, what I'm going to talk about right now. My Mount Rushmore of NHL players, not just in my lifetime, NHL players in general, going through the record books, through all the players who I think the four best players in the NHL are ever and who should be on that Mount Rushmore. Not my favorite, personally, statistically wise, I think should be on the Mount Rushmore. And there are a lot of honorable mentions too. I'll get to them at the end of the video. And every single player from this generation, from this past 10 to 15 years, the Sids, the Ovies, they're not on the list yet. By the end of their career, they could be on this list. Alexander Ovechkin, if he breaks Wayne Gretzky's goal record, it'd be really hard to keep him off this list. But as of for now, I got four players in the entirety of the NHL that I think are the four best players, that if I was going to make a Mount Rushmore of NHL players, these four guys would be on it. And I'm going to start off with the most obvious player. He's going to be on every single, unless you're biased and just hate the guy and wasn't a fan of the guy, there's no way this guy shouldn't be on the Mount Rushmore of NHL hockey players. He's not only the most famous NHL hockey player ever, he's the best. He is the great one. He holds most of the records. The numbers don't lie. Wayne Gretzky, front and center. He should be the main face on that Mount Rushmore of NHL players. We look at Wayne Gretzky's numbers. They're absolutely phenomenal. He played more games than all these guys, but still, the numbers jump off the page at you. Wayne Gretzky, in 1,487 games played in the NHL, that's not including his WHA career as well. He had a couple years in the WHA, where he played with Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe. He has 894 goals, 1,963 assists, 2,857 points in 1,487 games played. So he's not that far off 2 points a game in his career. A plus 520 with a 17.6% shooting percentage, by far the best shooting percentage on this list. His best point total overall, he's the only guy on this list to hit over 200 points from what I can see. His best point total is 215 points. He put that up in 85 and 86, and he had multiple 200-point seasons. His accolades consist of, he's a Hall of Famer, of course. All these guys are Hall of Famers. He's a 4-time Stanley Cup champion, won them all in Edmonton, 15-time All-Star, 5-time Lady Byng Award winner, 9-time Hart Award winner, 5-time Lester Pearson Award winner, 10 times he won the Art Ross, 2 times out of the 4 times he's been to the Stanley Cup final and won the Cup, he won the Conn Smythe, and he played 20 years in the NHL. Over the course of his career, he started off in Edmonton, he played for the LA Kings, he played for the New York Rangers, and he played for the St. Louis Blues for a little while as well. So that's Wayne Gretzky, front and center, should be number one on, unless you're biased, unless you think Bobby Orr is greater, and there's a good case for it, because Bobby Orr had a shorter career, but for a defenseman, his numbers are insane. Unless you think Bobby Orr is better, you should have Wayne Gretzky front and center on that Mount Rushmore of NHL players by far. And up next, speak to the devil himself, just said his name, Bobby Orr. And he's far from the devil. He's one of the NHL's sweetest guys by far. A great guy. Does a lot for charity. You see him in all kinds of commercials and stuff. He's always doing work when it comes to kids. He's always working with the youth and stuff. He's just a good example of what a hockey player should be on and off the ice. Love Bobby Orr. He was before my time, but my grandfather, I have 2 grandfathers, of course. One of them's passed away. Rest in peace. My grandfather, who's still alive right now, he's a big Boston fan, and Bobby Orr is his favorite player of all time, and it makes perfect sense why. But in 657 games played, which is a very short career compared to some of these guys, he has 270 goals, 645 assists, and 915 points. And he did this all being a defenseman, not being a front and center star, being a defenseman. He has a plus 582 plus minus, by far the best plus minus out of all these players I have listed. He has an 8.8 shooting percentage, which for a defenseman is amazing. And his best point total was 139 points in 1970, 1971. So Bobby Orr was a big part of those early 70s for sure. He's a Hall of Famer, of course, 2-time Stanley Cup winner, won both his cups in Boston, played most of his career in Boston. He's a 1-time Calder winner. Well, obviously he's 1-time. He won the Calder as a rookie in 66-67, excuse me. He's a 3-time Hart winner, an 8-time Norris Award winner. As far as I know, that's the record for the most Norris's won. If that's not the record, you guys can let me know in the comments, but I'm almost positive that has to be the record for the most Norris's won by a player. He's a one-time Pearson Award winner, two-time Art Ross Award winner, and both times he won the Cup, he was the Conn Smythe Award winner. He played most of his career in Boston, and he played 2 years for the Chicago Blackhawks, ending his career with Chicago. So Bobby Orr is definitely on my Mount Rushmore as well. So we got Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Orr, front and center. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, in my opinion. Other people may have their opinion. Let me know in the comments what your list would be. Up next, the next two may be controversial because there are names that a lot of people would put ahead of them. There's Gordie Howe, there's Maurice Richard, there's Guy Lafleur, there's great goalies like Martin Brodeur, Dominic Hasek. There are names people would probably put ahead of these guys, Ray Bourque. But for me personally, this guy has to be on the Mount Rushmore. In the Gretzky era, he was right there with Gretzky, front and center. Yes, he didn't win as many cups as Gretzky. He didn't get as much hype as Gretzky, but one hell of a player. In any other era, he would have been the greatest player of his era by far. Mario Lemieux, 915 games played, 690 goals, 1,033 assists, 723 points, 1,723 points, a career plus 114 with a 19% shooting percentage, which is actually higher than Gretzky's. I thought Gretzky had the highest shooting percentage on his list, but excuse me, I'll correct that mistake right now and say Mario Lemieux has the highest shooting percentage on this list. Amazing. And his highest point total, he was 1 away from 200. In 88-89, he had 199 points. He's come very close to 200 many times. And I believe he missed a few games that season, if I'm not mistaken. He's a Hall of Famer, a 2-time Cup champ, a 9-time All-Star. He won the Calder as a rookie in 84-85. It's no secret Pittsburgh tanked to get Lemieux back in the day. It's one of the biggest tank jobs ever. It saved their franchise, in my opinion. He's a 3-time Hart winner. He's a 1-time Masterson Award winner in 92 and 93, a 4-time Lester Pearson winner, a 6-time Art Ross winner, and 2 Conn Smythes. 2 times that he won the Cup. He was the MVP each time on a team that had Jaromir Jagr, who was a great player in his day too. And some people would probably have Jagr on your list too. I personally wouldn't have Jagr in my top 10 of all time, but a lot of people might even put him on the Mount Rushmore because Jagr was a great player, don't get me wrong. Just compared to Lemieux and Gretzky, not on that level in my opinion. And he played his entire 17-year career for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Great player. So far I got Bobby Orr, Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux on my Mount Rushmore, and I had to put a goalie on my Mount Rushmore. You had to have respect for goalies. In my opinion, the most important part of a hockey team is the goalie. You could be the best team in the world, have the best goal scorers, the best defense. If your goalie isn't solid and he's going to let in 4 or 5 a night, you're not going to be the best team and you're not going to win the cup. The most crucial part of an NHL team, I don't care what anybody says, is the goalie. Hands down. And the best goalie at getting you to the Stanley Cup final back in the day, in his time I should say, and the most clutch goalie, the guy you want in a Game 7, he's proven it many times, Patrick Roy, played for the Montreal Canadiens and the Colorado Avalanche. He played 551 games for Montreal, 478 for the Colorado Avalanche. In 1,029 games played, he has 551 wins, 315 losses, 131 ties, has a .910 save percentage, a 2.54 goals against average, 45 points in his career. As a goalie, has 45 points. In only 19 years, he has 45 points. So Roy got like over 2 points a year, and every single one of them were assists. He never scored a goal. And he has 262 penalty minutes, because anybody who was a fan of Roy back in the day knows he was a scrappy goalie. He wasn't scared to get involved in scuffles. He's had a few fisticuffs in his day. He's had a few scraps for sure. Patrick Roy, as a goalie, has 262 penalty minutes, which is crazy. He's a Hall of Famer for sure, one of the most entertaining players of all time. Next to Carey Price, because Carey Price is my favorite goalie of all time. Next to Carey Price, he's my favorite goalie of all time. And Dominic Hasek, too. I had to put Dominic Hasek there with Patrick Roy. I don't think he had as good of a career as Patrick Roy, but as far as entertaining goes, Hasek was right there with Roy for sure. He's a Hall of Famer, 4 times Cups winner, 6-time All-Star, 3-time Conn Smythe winner. He's won the Conn Smythe 3 times out of the 4 times he's been to the Stanley Cup final, which is incredibly impressive for a goalie. And he didn't have the defense he had in front, Martin Brodeur had in front of him. He didn't have as long as a career of Martin Brodeur, so I had to put Roy ahead of Martin Brodeur. When it comes down to when it counts, the Stanley Cup, Roy's just done it more, he's done it better, and he's won those 3 Conn Smythes. He's just a beast in every way you can state it. And he's a 3-time Vezina winner as well. His teams he played for, I already said Colorado and Montreal, and that was over a 19-year span. So there you go, guys. That's my NHL Mount Rushmore. Front and center, Wayne Gretzky. Right next to him, Bobby Orr. Mario Lemieux is right up there with those guys, too. And the greatest goalie of all time, in my opinion, not just the greatest goalie of his era, the greatest goalie of all time, Patrick Roy, has to be on that list. The only have that I put on the list as well. It wasn't me being biased that I needed to put a Montreal Canadian on the Mount Rushmore of hockey. He truly deserves to be up there, in my opinion. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Please, if you can, hit a like on this video. Hit that subscribe button. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm halfway there. I would love to get to 1,000. Get this channel popping off. Put out better content. More live streams. Tons of videos to come. And yes, please feel free to leave in the comments what your Mount Rushmore is. Who's your favorite? Not four favorite. I'll probably do another video on my four favorite of all time. And I'm going to do a Montreal Canadiens Mount Rushmore video as well. But who you think the four greatest hockey players are of all time? Feel free to leave that in the comments. This is Open Ice Hits with Scotty 2 Hockey. Have a great day, folks. Over and out.